Okay, now we'll go through the procedure for installing the rudder servo. We're starting off. We're on the same side of the airplane as our rudder control horn. In this case, it's the right side of the airplane. The elevator push rod's on the left side, so we're working on the opposite side of the airplane. Again, we're going to find the two servo openings. In this case, we're going to use the one in the back. The one in the back is for the rudder. So let's remove the covering over that. Okay, and now as before, because we're using the HS45HB, we're going to be cutting out a little bit of material to make the servo slot just a little bit longer. Okay, so we have the rudder servo. We run the wire through the fuselage. We install the servo with the servo head to the rear of the airplane, and we're going to use the servo screws that came in the servo package to screw this down to the fuselage. Okay, so we'll install the rudder push rod and servo arm. The rudder push rod is the longest push rod in your kit. So we thread the Z-bend end of the push rod into the rudder control horn. And it looks like we're going to need a little bit more bend on this particular push rod. That's easy to do. Just going to take a pair of pliers. We're just going to make a little bit more bend in our Z-bend section, just a little bit more. We thread that into the rudder control horn. Now it lines up beautifully with where the rudder servo arm is going to be. Everything moves freely. The rudder moves freely. So we'll install this push rod through the push rod connector. And we'll push it onto the servo. And we'll install the servo arm screw. Okay. When we go to tighten the servo arm to the push rod during our radio setup phase, we'll use our 1.5 millimeter hex driver tool or Allen wrench to do that. But for now, we're going to leave this set screw loose. That way when we fire our radio up, if our servo moves, our surfaces won't be bound up and this can move freely. We can go back, reset the servo arm as necessary. That is your servo push rod and servo system. Okay? And now both of these servos have their extension leads installed. And we have the extension leads up here in the front of the fuselage now, right to where we're going to be mounting our receiver here behind the wing spar. Alright. Okay, so your kit includes a strip of self-adhesive double-sided Velcro. Take that apart. Now, most of this is going to be used to attach your Li-Poly battery to your battery tray. Now, people ask which side goes on which. It's personal preference. Here in Texas, we have stickers on our flying field called grass burrs, and the soft side of the Velcro attracts these things. So we normally use the soft side of the Velcro in the airplane so that we are able to set our Li-Poly batteries on the ground with the rough side, and it doesn't attract all of these sand burrs and all of these different plant seeds with little hooks on them. But either way, it's personal preference. But what we are going to do is we're going to take a little bit of this Velcro, just a little bit on the end, about a ½ inch, and we're going to use it to attach our receiver to the airplane. So we're going to take a pair of scissors, and we're just going to cut a ½ inch long section off of the fuzzy side of the Velcro, and now off of the rough side of the Velcro. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these. In this case, I'm using the rough side. And we're going to stick it onto the equipment tray in the airplane. I'm going to put it right over the O in 3D Hobby Shop right here at the rear. Okay, it's self-adhesive, it sticks down. If you want it to be even more secure, get our extensions out of the way so we can work here. If you want it to be even more secure, you can put a drop of thin CA right around it. We'll do that real quick. We'll just add a drop of thin CA. One right behind the Velcro onto the wood, and then one right in front of the Velcro. We can let that soak in for a second and then hit it with our CA accelerator. And we'll take the opposite side, the fuzzy side of the Velcro, and we'll put it on the bottom of our receiver. I already have one on this Hi-Tech Optima receiver using the 6-channel. This is the lightest Hi-Tech Optima. This is a small aircraft. It's small, so you can't fly it, hundreds and hundreds of yards away from yourself, because it'll be, it's meant to be flown in a fairly small space and kept fairly close to you. So we don't need a super long-range receiver. This Hi-Tech Optima is a full-range receiver, but it's the lightest one that they make, so we're going to use it in this aircraft. You can use the small park flyer version of whatever type of receiver that you choose to use. And so we're going to stick the receiver down to the Velcro like so, and that's how it's going to ride in our airplane. So we can start doing our equipment hookup. We can plug in our rudder servo and our elevator servo. We also have the lead from our speed control we can plug in. Okay, and we'll need to tie our wires and our antenna out of the way, but this is the basics of your radio setup inside the fuselage.